everybody. Here we have a 2004 Harley Davidson Sportster. It is the 883 Custom Edition. It comes with the two-tone 3.3 gallon fuel tank. It's got a couple accessories, including the Screaming Eagle Stage 2 exhaust, along with the Screaming Eagle intake. The carburetor has also been rejetted to increase fuel delivery, but with the Screaming Eagle exhaust and the intake, it does have a little bit more power than the standard 883. Not quite like a 1200, but probably in between 883 and a 1200. The 1200 looks pretty similar to the setup, because it basically, the difference is just the pistons are wider on the 1200, and on the 1200 it would have a badge that said it's a 1200, but basically everything else about the bike would be the same from a 883 to a 1200. And this motorcycle, since it's a 2004, it was the first year that they introduced the motor mounts. Before that, it would be bolted, the engine would be bolted to the frame, so it's a comfortable ride because this one has the motor mounts. I personally like it better than the older style. It also has more comfortable seats. These are called the Mustang seats, so they're aftermarket, and that makes it for a very comfortable ride. So besides the addition of the motor mounts in 2004, they also incorporated the transmission with the engine into one case. So if the transmission ever needs to be rebuilt, the engine would have to be removed as well. Belt driven. Maintenance on this bike it's really simple to do the oil change. I'll do another video here in a few weeks. I'm gonna do the oil change, probably change the spark plugs. But because this motorcycle is also carbureted, there's really not much to this bike. It doesn't have all those sensors like the fuel injected ones. It's also air cooled, so there's no coolant going through the engine or anything like that. So there's less maintenance to worry about. It doesn't. So some people might think that us with motorcycles with loud exhaust are just obnoxious, but one thing you gotta remember when riding a motorcycle is you gotta be even more careful than driving a car. A lot of times you can be riding safely, but it could be the other drivers that don't see you. Well, that's where exhaust comes in. They might not be able to see you, but they'll be able to hear you. And that's why I really love the fact that my motorcycle has such a loud exhaust, because people are gonna hear me before they'll even see me. And that's a safety thing. You wanna be sure that people around you know that you're there. That way they don't try to get into your lane or pull out in front of you. So that's one thing you gotta be conscious about when riding a motorcycle. You gotta be careful. But I really love the exhaust sound, and partly due because it's aftermarket, and also it doesn't have catalytic converters, no baffles. I'll do another video where I'll have the baffles in there so you can hear the difference between baffles and no baffles. The exhaust definitely adds experience to the ride. It's actually a whole lot louder than the Corvette. Another thing about this bike is insurance. Insurance is really cheap. I only pay $65 a year. That's for liability, but still $65 a year. On the Corvette, it's got full cover, but on that, I'm paying about $1,400 a year, $1,300–1,400. So 65 bucks on the motorcycles, it's definitely really cheap. So it don't bother me to just let it sit. That's why I don't feel like selling it, even though I don't really ride it much, because it's a cool thing about it. You can afford to just keep the motorcycle, and it won't really cost much for you to just keep it compared to a car. The motorcycle's been sitting all winter. I just fire it up every now and then, but I hadn't really been riding it. So I'll change the oil, change the spark plugs, and I'll start riding it. I'll do a couple videos on that. And thanks for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.